completion under the redevelopment agreement in accordance with the final signature plans. The applicant shall A, complete all phase one proposed improvements to the
Excuse
public
me.
pedestrian.
Excuse me, Tim,
Yeah.
maybe I can help you out. Tanya, I have seen Tanya's staff report
Mhm.
to the extent this can help you out. And as far as condition 1A through F, the applicant can certainly will agree to comply with that condition.
Mhm.
It's not an issue. The same would go for condition 2A through C,
Mhm.
as well as conditions 3, 4, 5, and 6. The applicant can agree to them all. As far as condition 7 goes, we can agree to that if you could, and I sent Tanya an email, delete the requirement that says prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy, because that tail end of that sentence is inconsistent with conditions 1 and 2, which require us to do the landscaping within a year of obtaining a certificate of occupancy. So I could agree to 1 through 7 minus that last clause of 7 that requires us to install a landscaping prior to.
Yeah, I understand. I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
That's fine. Also that the issue with the landowner at Magnolia Ave, that one with the drainage. Can we also put a condition in there that kind of says that you're gonna take a look at it?
Yes, subject to crafting some language with staff, with Tanya, yes, we could put a condition.
And also, the issue of 810 Pavonia, because that was my application, when it was previously approved. I actually just looked at the plans because they're still in the open data portal. If you'd like a copy of the plans, I can surely send them to you. The windows are not on the property line, but there is a setback. There's an alleyway in between, but at the same time, it is pretty close to the development that's going on, the proposed development. So I could certainly share those plans with you.
Well, I think we'd like to see those plans. It sounds like we've met the setback requirement for our project, and possibly this gentleman's project is not on his lot line. So there may be sufficient space there for both buildings to be located.
There could be.
where
I'm not
planned,
asking for a condition there. I'm just saying, I could share the plans.
Okay, thank you.
Other than that, planning is in favor of the application and recommends.
All right,
And
thanks.
just one thing on that last thing on 810. So it's your opinion or Tanya's that it, as approved, that that would not present any conflict in improving this application?
You're asking that of me?
You or
Yeah,
Council?
well, 810 Pavonia was approved year and a half ago. The rear yard and the side yard setbacks were appropriate. There were no variances for that. And the application was approved, but it was approved under the previous, looking at 808 Pavonia before the iteration that has come now. So it's like 808 Pavonia is different now than it was then.
Well, that's going to happen. But let me then ask this is Santo, is the application for 810 was approved. No questions, it passed muster. This application's coming. It's a different configuration than what's there, which is usually the case. But does it present a legal conundrum for this board to move forward on?
Well, so the question is whether or not there's enough of space between windows, I believe, is the only legitimate question. As I recall, the 810 Pavonia application, this application with respect to the rear property had a fire escape that was, I want to say, 8 feet from the property line before you got to that rear building. So those blue chairs on the roof deck or the pool deck of the proposed application, that's at least 8 feet from the windows of the rear units of 810 Pavonia. From the property line, Mr. McCann's witness testified that they are 3 feet within their property line, which satisfies the quote unquote light requirement of windows and access. And that's what that testimony was from Mr. McCann. As it relates to that rear setback, along where the pool is, where that deck curves over the street, and without the map in front of me, I forget which street that is. It might be Van Ripen, I'm not sure. But that was a street along this corner lot that was 810 Pavonia. So there was no side yard setback. That was a corner lot built to that street. At least that's what the approval was.
Well, even that approval was for, even if you consider that side, there is still an alleyway there, not just the fire escape in the back. There's an alleyway along the side of the building that is set back from the property. So even there, there's like 5 feet extra setback from the property line.
To the, what street is that, Tim?
It's not even, it wasn't a street, it was they presented it as the
Connector,
to be constructed street
right.
within the Journal Square 2060 plan.
The side of 810 Pavonia,
If the board would like, I can bring up the plan on my screen now.
I don't want to bring up 810, but let's bring
Okay.
up the site plan. Mr. McCann's client site plan.
Stephen, can you bring up the site plan exhibit? Thank you.
Okay, can we just zoom in on this?
And Mr. Kutri, I do see your hand up. Just give us 1 second. I do want to bring you back up to discuss.
So the piece that we're talking about where the little hand on the cursor is, that is the 810 Pavonia piece.
Mm,
And for the sake of argument, we're going to call it a 50 by 100 rectangle. The lot line that touches the beige north tower, there is absolutely a fire escape along that property line that comes back into the 810 building 8 feet or whatever that was. So there's at least 8 feet to the property line and then 3 feet to the building. Tim, if I understand what you're saying is this street that's being shown, if we can move that cursor, yes.
mhm.
That was a connector that was not actually a designated street. And the proposed building at 810, which was approved, was 5 feet off of the proposed street as we see it illustrated here tonight or no?
It would be 3 feet, 8 inches was the side yard setback.
And does that 3 feet, 8 inches then have, is that the dash between the lot line and that dash line?
Yes. No, it's actually, it was 3 feet, 8 inches off of the property line of 810 Pavonia.
And my question, Mr. McCann, is that dashed line that we're seeing, which outlines the building of your client's project, do we know the dimension between that and the property line? I can't point.
Gary, Gary Handel, can you answer council's question?
I believe that's 3 feet.
We have a clearer image.
Cam, if we still have you on,
Chairman, I don't even know what I'm looking at.
I don't either.
Gary
Um,
Handel, can you, so this is, yeah, Stephen, stick to the plans that we have.
Cam, if you could, let's bring up Mr. Kutry also. Since we're discussing his property, he's online, he can testify to it.
Mr. Kutry's been promoted.
Thank you.
Hi, guys. I'm back. Can you hear
Hi,
me?
Mr. Kutry.
Hold on one second, Mr. Kutry. Let's get to the right screen here.
I think, council, I think this is probably the best screen.
Yeah, but if we could maybe zoom in a little bit, because so right, exactly.
Can I interject here, guys? Just I want,
Second.
okay.
Just 1 second, sir.
Yeah,
no
just
problem.
give us 1 second, sir.
Yep, of course. Sorry, guys. Go ahead.
No worries.
So, Tim, it's your recollection that we've got the fire escape on 810.
Mhm. That's 7 feet.
7 feet, thank you, to the property line.
Yep.
And Mr. McCann's witness has testified that their building is 3 feet off of their property line to the amenity floor. And then let's talk about this side. So 810 is there's an alleyway to where?
I need to, we're checking on that setback. It may not be 3 feet. So so it was, we were doing that for just construction, that this is not a redevelopment requirement. So we're checking on the actual dimension of that, as far as the redevelopment plan is concerned, we understood that that was a 0 setback condition that would be allowed there. So we're just checking on the actual, on what we've actually allowed for there, right in that corner that we're discussing. So we're just checking the documents.
Okay, Mr. Kutry, you had wanted to say something. So
Yeah, just two
Yeah.
things. So the rear of my building that essentially abuts building 4 is 7 feet. The rear wall of the building is 7 feet off that property line. That 7 feet between the building wall and the property line is fire stairs that go to the property line. So they're stairs that go against each other, right? They're up and down stairs. So
Right.
you could literally get off of that pool deck area where those chairs were and just jump onto my stairs and go down. That's number one. Secondly, on the facade of the building, which faces east, which is where the roadway is now being proposed. My building does have a 3-foot setback at ground level, but the building cantilevers over to the full property line for the upper floors, for floors 2 through 4. So this would literally be abutting, or whatever it is, whatever their setback is from the property line, it would be nearly abutting my building.
Yep.
That's what the approval is for 810 Pavonia, just to clarify.
Yes, he is correct for that. The floors above do cantilever over. Which was
And-
permitted.
Yeah, and the cantilever is at the level of where that pool is. So like I said, I'm supportive of this project generally. I just think this pool should be on the north side of this. It should abut out over that, the other side of this property, which is where there's empty space, right? It's open air space over there. But this is essentially in front of a building, in front of my building. I mean, they could figure out the design, but this is just not an acceptable design based on what I'm intending to do here.
And what you were previously approved for.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have the approval. I may be amending it, you know, like I said, I'm willing to discuss with these guys what they're doing, but as it's proposed, it just isn't going to work. I mean, they're essentially taking property over the streetway that's being proposed and making it additional building and amenity space.
It's not a,
So-
so, excuse me, sir, but it's not it's not a street.
Okay.
And so, it's basically, it's an internal connecting road on our property, like how you were allowed to have windows that basically are directly on your property line is slightly unfathomable to me, right? That's not, you're having, we'll look at the approval, but having legal windows directly abutting somebody else's property is quite unusual and not even legal under almost any building code. So I'm not even sure that this would be approved at building department.
In that situation, the side yard setbacks are allowed in that situation because the neighbors are all in that zone. If you go down Pavonia, they're all right on top of each other.
Right.
So theoretically, like he's building on a building line that has no buildings next to him. He can build up to the lot line because there is no side yard setback. It's like 2 feet on one side, 3 feet on the other.
Right.
The other person, if they're built on the lot line, he can build 3 feet on the other. He has to hold a 3-foot setback on the other side. So he can technically build to the building line because there's no building next to him.
Right.
In this situation, you're building the building next to him after the fact. So
The 2060 plan contemplates a building 4 that does not abut out over that roadway. I know you're not calling it a roadway. I'm sorry, the connector road. So that's what we used when we got this approval. We literally took map 2 from the 2060 plan and we dropped it down and we said, our building's going to be a corner lot building here. And there's going to be a roadway and there's going to be a sidewalk next to our building once this project happens around us. What's
Right,
different
so-
here is
and
that
I- and-
the building 4 you're
Right, so that-
contemplating goes way out further.
Right, there's no, and that's the problem that we have, is that basically that the earlier vision, was indicative, right? Not plan on what we're planning on building. There's no restrictions
Right.
on us building to that lot line, right? So,
Right.
so that's the problem.
Right, but I
Uh,
would have thought that you would have considered prior approvals before you did your design, which is essentially going to block off what's here. We could have had a discussion about it. Again, I don't want to throw a monkey wrench into this. I love what you guys are doing, but
Yeah,
this
no, that,
particular
so
component is
it makes
problematic.
sense.
All right, let's not go back and forth, gentlemen.
Yeah,
Are we able to answer the question that's on the floor? Which is how far setback
It's only-
off
it's
of
only-
that line?
It's
are we?
only, it's a 1-foot construction setback
Okay,
on those, in that corner there.
That complete wraparound is 1 foot.
I believe so.
the wraparound is, or actual building 4 is?
Well, building 4
No,
was
so,
coming to the other side. So that whole L shape,
Mhm.
is, if I'm understanding, Gary, it's 1 foot all the way around.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
1 foot all the way around is my question.
And then to Tim's point, I mean, if Sarah was approved to go to there, I mean, and to Gary's point earlier is that if it's unconscionable or unfathomable because of the proximity, then I don't know how we can, without a conversation, get to that point.
Yeah, I don't know how anybody wasn't aware of this prior.
Yeah.
So if I may, being involved with 810 Pavonia, it is actually very difficult to understand where the depth of the building on that property aligns with this image. I think that would be the first step in trying to understand where these two buildings might align or they might offset. So earlier, what we referenced when this comment came up is to at least merge the plans, discuss the potential impacts, if any, with Mr. Guthrie, and then if there needs to be a design change one way or the other, understand what that would need to happen. And then if we need to come back to this board to rectify that, do that. But that's I have a difficult time understanding exactly the point at which these two buildings would be crossing one another. Without the proposed structure on 810 Pavonia, you don't know how far it goes back onto that lot.
Yeah,
And Chairman, quite
Mr.
honestly,
Chairman,
that becomes an issue for the board as well.
yeah.
Go ahead, Mr.
agreed.
McCann. Can we stop sharing the screen? I can't even see Mr.
Yeah, I
McCann.
can't see anybody.
I
Yeah,
have
Santo, that's,
I have a suggestion that maybe could end this discussion, at least for the evening, to continue it offline. We'll agree to a condition to meet with the gentleman who owns 810 Pavonia Avenue. We will bring our plans. We will look at his plans together. We will do what Charles suggested, is analyze them both, see if there's a way we can merge them. And if not, we will report back to planning staff, that being either Tim or Tanya, whoever we're directed to. And we would like 30 days to have that meeting with the gentleman at 810 and take a look at the plans and report back. And if we have to amend our plans or he has to amend his plans, we will figure it out and we will do our best to cooperate with the gentleman at 810 Pavonia in respect to his plan.
so before we go to Mr. Kutri on that, Santo, what's our legal liability if that's the case, the board's legal liability?
So, Chairman, this is where council probably doesn't agree with me, but I don't know how you can move forward until the question is answered. I just don't know how you are able to move forward. There's a question outstanding as to where the line is and where the building is in relation to the line. And I think that since council has stated that he's going to meet with the gentleman has indicated that he's going to meet with council, I think that we close public, carry the matter for 30 days to allow that to transpire, and allow council the ability to open the record for purposes of providing supplemental testimony as to this point and this point only, if it's necessary, and hopefully they're able to rectify and address this one way or the other. And then the board can also do its diligence and see from its point of view. I want to look at the plan, the redevelopment plan with respect to this particular issue and what council may come back with. And that's my advice to the board.
I agree. I don't see how we could legally proceed with this question in front of us right now. I think that's a a legal liability for the board. I think, you know, there's already an approval in place for 810 Pavonia. I would prefer to pump the brakes personally and give it a 30-day window. Mr. McCann, I'd be more than willing to go 12 years and 1 month on your extension. And Mr. Kutry, is that agreeable to you, sir?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's the right thing to do here.
And Chairman, for the
I-
record, I'm not saying that it's not possible that the applicant is 100% in the right and could construct in the manner in which it's proposed and present no issue to Mr. Kutry, whether he agrees with that or not. That may be possible. So I just say that for what it's worth, so everybody understands going into the next hearing that could be the case. It's just something that obviously wasn't recognized by everybody. And may be an issue, may not be an issue. So I
Yeah.
think Mr. McCann knows what to do. I think Mr. Kutry is in support generally, has a legitimate concern, and I think in 30 days they can work something out.
it's fine.
I'm not sure why we can't accomplish that with an approval with the condition though, because either way, we would have to come back to the board, effectively report our findings and either satisfy and get relief from the condition, so to speak.
Well, I think if
For-
we
for-
give an approval tonight or a denial tonight, I think that handcuffs Mr. Kutry as well.
I would not be supportive of that
Yeah.
personally, until this is cleared up from my
I
perspective.
think the question has to be answered, and I think that it can be answered. And I think before this board can take action, the question has to be answered. It's 1:45.
And council, for just 2 cents as just the commissioner of this planning board, I honestly wouldn't feel comfortable with the approval of Mr. McCann, and I'll tell you why. We already have an approval on Mr. Kutry's project, and if there's any sense that there may be some issue, I can't vote for an approval on this one until that has been resolved and it's clear. And obviously, it's not. This is my idea, my thinking here. So I wouldn't feel comfortable voting on it today.
And Chair, likewise myself, I concur with our attorney remarks as well, together with our fellow commissioners. I'm not comfortable as well in voting on this tonight. There is
I agree.
people out there. and I
Thank
think
you.
it's more-
Thank you, Commissioner Gangadin. Having heard you and having heard the vice chairman and the chairman, we'll agree to carry to the next planning board hearing. I guess in October, the first planning board hearing in October. That would be enough time, I think, to resolve this.
I agree. That's October 11th. Mr. Kutry, how do you feel about that? October 11th?
That works for me.
Okay.
Mr. McCann, I'm represented by Jason Tuvell at Prime Law. If you want to reach out to him, or Charles has my contact information, can pass it to you, whatever's easier for you.
I know,
Well,
Mr. Lavelle, thank you.
That raises a question in my head is Charles does an excellent job. He represented you. Now he's representing the applicant on this particular project. I mean, does that Santo present any conflict?
I don't think it presents a conflict for Mr. Height. It obviously does not present the conflict for this board. Mr. Height is charged with determining his own conflicts. I don't appreciate it as a conflict, but that's his obligation to determine. I'll leave that to Mr. Height to talk about, and
Fair enough.
I
Chairman,
appreciate the thought, Commissioner Lipsky. My role in this is trying to identify the zoning requirements. This is an issue where they're not specific in this boundary. So, I'm going to be determined working with both clients to understand what the requirements are, how they're being applied to the properties, and effectively what's the approved design on 810 and the proposed design on 808. The discussions beyond that I'm not involved.
Charles has been invaluable to me. I love the work that he's done for me. I wouldn't want any sort of conflict to come in to affect him professionally at all. I don't view this as any issue at all personally. I don't know if Mr. McCann does, but he's been amazing and I want to keep working with him if I can.
Well, our council said that's not a problem. So Chairman, the other thing I would ask is that our staff look at what the ramifications are with the current drawings and with the approval for A10. As much as they're going to converse, I think it'd be prudent on our end to look at it and have a thoughtful response when we return. And I'm sure they'll be involved with I would imagine, Mr. McCann, and knowing his integrity would involve them in that. I'm just saying for the record that I would ask that our staff equally look at both the approved A10 and then the proposed project.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree.
Chair, if I can, Mr. McCann and your team, thank you so much for a very, very detailed presentation. It was very detailed. It's a beautiful project as well.
Thank you.
I second that. And I mean, as I was watching it, I mean, I felt like I was in Chicago along Michigan Avenue between the Magnificent Mile and Millennium Park. The only thing missing may have been the Cloud Gate, the bean, but otherwise, I think the amphitheater, all the other great stuff is, as we heard from public comment, in a good place. So,
Yeah, let's save the comments for the actual
30 days.
the actual approval or denial. So I would entertain a motion then to carry to a date certain October 11th at this point.
Mr. Chair, this time I'm going to make two motions. I'll start with the subdivision. I make a motion to carry case P22-136 preliminary and final major subdivision with C variances to a date certain of October 11th.
Second,
Okay, motion and second to carry P22-136, the subdivision.
Vice Chair, Dr. Gonzalez,
Aye.
Commissioner Lipsky,
aye.
Commissioner Gagnon,
Aye.
Commissioner Dr. Desai,
Aye. Aye.
Commissioner Green,
Aye.
and Chairman Langston.
Aye.
All in favor, motion passes.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make another motion to move case P22-137 preliminary and final major site plan with C variances to a date certain of October 11th.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for case P22-137.
Vice Chair, Dr. Gonzalez.
Aye.
Commissioner Lipsky,
Aye.
Commissioner Gagnon,
Aye.
Commissioner Dr. Desai,
Aye.
Commissioner Green,
Aye.
and Chairman Langston.
Aye.
All in favor, motion passes.
Okay, thank you. We'll see you in a month, guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, commissioners. We appreciate your time too, very much.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
Council.
Good night. all
All right, thank you, Mr. Kuchar. Okay, Cam, did we hear from Mr. Harrington?
Yes,
2-008.
yes, he has confirmed with his client that they will be carrying to September 20th with preservation notice.
Okay, so we're carrying case P22-008 minor site plan for 95 Green Street to a date certain September 20th. And Cam, let's put them on number 3 on that agenda, all right?
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. All right, let's move on to memorialization of resolutions, please.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to memorialize the following resolutions. First one, I have 7. First one is resolution of the Planning Board of the City of Jersey City, applicant Manna Contemporary Tribeca West Urban Renewal LLC for 50 Day Street, Master Condominium Unit, also known as Tower Number 1, Block 7701, Lot 5, Tower 1, AKA qualifiers C0001, case number P19-195. Second resolution is of the City of Jersey City, applicants 303 First Street LLC and Village Townhouse Estates LLC for 303-311 First Street, Block 1270, lots 8, 9, 10, and 12, case number P20-085. Third resolution is of the City of Jersey City, applicant is Monticello 200 LLC for preliminary and final major site plan with a deviation 200-204 Monticello Avenue, Jersey City, New Jersey, block 16801, lot 45, 46, and 47, case number P22-007. Fourth resolution is of the City of Jersey City, board case number P21-165. Address is 292 Grant Street, Jersey City, New Jersey, block 14105, lot 3. Fifth resolution is of the City of Jersey City, board case number P22026, address 90 Bergen Avenue, Jersey City, New Jersey, block 24095, lot 2. Sixth resolution is the City of Jersey City for approval and recommendation of amendments to the Journal Square 2060 redevelopment plan to create a corner bonus at 3 locations within the Zone 3 Commercial Center District. And the last resolution is corrective resolution of the Planning Board of the City of Jersey City to the resolution of approval for amendment to preliminary final major site plan with deviations submitted by Wave Building LLC at 30 Park Lane North, block 7302, lot 3.13, case number P22-051.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, motion and second. Could we have a roll call, please, Kim?
Yes, sir. Okay, so Vice Chair Dr. Gonzalez.
Aye.
All right, Commissioner Lipsky,
Aye.
Commissioner Dr. Desai.
Aye.
All right, is Commissioner Cruz still with us? No, he's left.
No, you dropped off.
Cruised.
Okay. Commissioner Green?
Aye.
Yes, okay. And Commissioner Gangadin?
Aye.
Okay, and Chairman Langston.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries, all in favor to memorialize resolutions.
All right, thank you, everybody. I hope we don't need an executive session, Santo.
Not.
All right, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Move to close.
Second.
All right, thank you, guys. I appreciate you hanging in there so late.
You
Thanks,
got it done in one day, 7 minutes before the midnight hour.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, guys, be good. I'll
Nice.
see you in a
Au
couple weeks.
revoir.
Have a good night. Bye.